Have you ever heard about Kaspi.kz? In short, it's a bank, but actually it's more than that. It's a fintech giant that emerged from Kazakhstan and now rivals global platforms. We're talking about a company that's worth around $17 billion today. Its reach is another story. Over 30 million people use it every month, with about 65% logging in every single day. Think about that. 2/3 of its user base opens the app daily. And it's not just some group of people. More than 70% of Kazakhstan population relies on Kaspi regularly. It's the country's digital backbone, a platform people use to pay bills, transfer money, shop, and run their daily lives. This isn't Silicon Valley or Wall Street. It's right from the heart of Central Asia. Kaspi started in Kazakhstan, serving local banking needs and slowly expanded into payments, shopping, loans, groceries, travel, you name it. Their super app does it all. Kind of like a WeChat, but designed for everyday Kazakhs. Imagine an app that replaces your wallet, your shopping app, and your bank, and more. That's Kaspi.kz. It's become so integral that nearly 70% of Kazakhs use it every day. That scale, from a single country of about 20 million people, is truly insane. So, here's the question. How did a relatively small company from a landlocked country grow into a multi-billion-dollar fintech powerhouse with that level of reach and influence? In the next section, we'll dive into the history of Kaspi.kz, how it pivoted from a bank to a super app, who was behind the transformation, and why it succeeded where others didn't. Let's get into it. Kaspi actually started off pretty traditionally as a retail bank, but in the late 2000s, Kazakhstan's banking system was struggling with the effects of global financial crisis. Most banks were playing it safe, sticking to old models. Kaspi's team, though, decided to take a different road. They realized that if they wanted to grow, they couldn't just compete on interest rates or physical branches. They needed to innovate digitally. In 2012, something important happened. Mikhail Lomtadze, a Harvard Business School graduate originally from Georgia, took over as a CEO, alongside Vyacheslav Kim, one of the Kazakhstan's most successful entrepreneurs. They completely reshaped the company's strategy. Instead of thinking like a bank, they started thinking like a tech company. And that mindset shift is what laid the foundation for everything Kaspi is today. They began launching new digital products, online payments, mobile transfers, and eventually an app that brought everything together. At first, people thought it was risky. Why would customers trust an app with all their financial activity? But Kaspi nailed two things. First, simplicity. They made the app unbelievably easy to use. And second is trust. They invested heavily in security and customer support. By 2017, Kaspi wasn't just a bank anymore. It was transforming into a super app. And that pivot from slow, branch-based banking to a fully digital ecosystem is what positioned Kaspi to dominate not just Kazakhstan, but to start catching the attention of the global financial world. But the story doesn't stop there. Next, let's look at how Kaspi's super app model actually works and why it became so addictive for millions of people. Kaspi's business runs on three main engines. Payments. This is the core. You can pay bills, transfer money, buy tickets, and even scan QR codes in stores. Basically, if money is moving in Kazakhstan, chances are it's moving through Kaspi. Second, marketplace. Kaspi isn't just finance, it's shopping. They built an e-commerce platform inside the app where people can buy electronics, clothes, and even groceries. Think of it as Kazakhstan's own Amazon, but directly linked to your bank. And third, final, is fintech/banking. This is where loans, deposits, and credit products come in. Because Kaspi already controls payments and shopping, they can offer financing seamlessly. Want to buy a new phone, but don't have the cash? Kaspi offers instant credit, all inside the app. The genius here is how these three parts connect. The more you shop, the more you use payments. The more you use payments, the more comfortable you are trusting Kaspi with banking. Each part of the app reinforces the other, creating a loop that keeps people coming back every single day. This is called an ecosystem effect, and it's something only a few companies in the world have managed to pull off. Think of WeChat in China or PayPal in the US. Kaspi managed to build their own version right here in Central Asia. And that's why Kaspi isn't just popular, It's sticky. It's built into daily routines. Once you're in the Kaspi ecosystem, it's hard to leave because everything you need is already there. But with all that power comes big question. What risks does Kaspi face, and can it really expand beyond Kazakhstan? So, Kaspi's super app model turned it into a daily habit for millions of people. But the story isn't all smooth sailing. No company gets this big without facing some serious challenges. First, Kaspi is heavily concentrated in Kazakhstan. Sure, having more than 70% of country's population on your app is incredible, of course, but it also means the company's fortunes are tied closely to the local economy. If Kazakhstan's economy slows down, Kaspi feels it instantly. Second, competition is heating up. Fintech is one of the fastest moving industries in the world. New startups, global payments, systems, even crypto platforms could eat into Kaspi's dominance if they don't keep innovating. And finally, regulation. When one company handles this much of a country's daily financial life, governments watch very closely. Any new rules or restrictions could have a big impact. But Kaspi isn't just sitting in Kazakhstan. In 2024, it made a huge move by acquiring about 65% of Hepsiburada, a major e-commerce company in Turkey. That's Kaspi stepping onto the international stage, proving it doesn't just want to dominate Central Asia, it wants to become a regional, maybe even global fintech leader. Moreover, Kaspi's listing on the Nasdaq in New York marked a major milestone. It became the first Kazakh company to trade on the exchange, giving international investors direct access to its shares and putting Kazakhstan's fintech sector on the global financial map. So, yes, Kaspi is a powerhouse, but the big question now is whether it can keep this momentum going outside Kazakhstan and whether it can defend its home turf as the fintech world evolves. And that brings us to the bigger picture. What Kaspi's story actually means for emerging markets and the future of finance. It shows us that world-class innovation can come from places most people don't expect. Kazakhstan, an emerging market often overlooked in the global finance conversation, has built a fintech platform that rivals some of the biggest names out there. And that's a signal. The future of finance isn't limited to Silicon Valley or London or Wall Street. It's being written everywhere. Kaspi worked because it solved real problems in people's daily lives, built trust, and scaled into an ecosystem that became impossible to ignore. With its listing on Nasdaq and its expansion into Turkey, Kaspi is trying to prove it can go even further. Whether it succeeds globally or not, it's already transformed how millions of people live, pay, and shop, and that alone makes it one of the most fascinating fintech stories in the world. So, what do you think? Can Kaspi become a true global player, or will it remain Kazakhstan's national champion? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns of finance, economics, and the stories shaping our generation, hit subscribe. This is Finance by Yerdu. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.